Yeah. So speaking of goats, we talk about having a good balance of goats and flyers in your sports card investing portfolio. So let's take it to the flyers real quick, and let's talk to Kendall about baseball before we deep dive jump into football for a big portion of the show with Andy. But Kendall, I want to give a shout out to a couple of our YouTube commenters, Chad Mayer and Duncan Cards, who are also challenging you a little bit on the baseball side of things. Less intense than Southern Soccer Idiot, although I kid. Southern Soccer Idiot's just very intelligent, and he's definitely we love his comments and we love his takes, and he's very appropriate with how he does it. But so are Chad and Duncan. So basically, Chad and Duncan are both kind of they're asking about a couple guys that we haven't talked about yet, which is why I just wanted to work this into today's show. So
Yeah.
one of the guys is a Dodgers prospect by the name of Miguel Vargas, who I believe is in AAA right now, and he has some
Yeah.
investable cards. Obviously, he's got our favorite Bowman Chrome First autos and all that good stuff. Give us your take on Vargas for the sake of Chad.
So I'm actually very high on Vargas. And I'm more or less more excited about him in real life. Like, cards is like, okay, but I'm actually very excited about Vargas becoming an up and comer in the Dodgers system. Just not even from a fantasy perspective, just sheer I love baseball perspective. I'm excited about Vargas coming up. I think he's a really toolsy player. Strike's young at a AAA level. He's at 22 at a AAA level. He's 24% better than league average at the AAA level with a 16.8% strikeout percentage, which is phenomenal. That means he's totally ready to take over that spot at third base. And I think the Dodgers have held him down just out of respect for Justin Turner. Justin Turner's been their third baseman forever and ever, amen. And they even signed him back to kind of a legacy deal, like you've seen with like Brett Gardner or something, being a Yankee longer than he deserves to be a Yankee athletically. But they're going to make him a Yankee because he is the Yankees, if that makes sense. So I think Justin Turner is that player for the Dodgers. Even though Justin Turner has been incredible, I'm not saying that he's like washed and that he just, it's like the old folks legacy deal that they gave him. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is potentially Miguel Vargas is going to take over that third base role after Turner is out. And Vargas is a nasty hitter. I love the way that he presents himself in the box. He's doing what he's doing at an elite level, and investability. I think he's undervalued currently. There's other guys that I would rather have in that little spectrum of where he's at in terms of his buy profile, because I think there's deeper plays that you can make there. And for me, he's kind of not in a flyer term. He's kind of moving between a flyer and a star. But he's just not exactly getting MLB time yet. And so I think he'll be there quickly. So if you're trying to get a guy that's going to move quick from the minors to the majors, then Vargas is definitely a guy you're going to be looking for. So if you're looking for the 2 to 3 year flip rather than like most of baseball cards are, like you're digging through the dollar boxes to find the guys that are going to explode in value. That's kind of the difference between baseball and maybe football or basketball, is like it's a lot. The exponential return is a lot higher potentially from guys that you can find just way out in the dollar boxes. But Vargas is nice. His autos are super cleaned as well. I think that's another thing. That 2020 set, it's very clear. It says Vargas, very clear every single time. And I was like, I like that. I appreciate that as a card collector. And I think that actually goes into his value as well. When you see that, look, Vargas underlined. It's that way every single time. And I love his cards. I'm a big investor. I'm a big fan of his. I actually got into him a little late, to be honest. And so I don't have as many Vargas cards as I'd like because I waited too long. I believed that some other guys were going to, in the Dodgers system, were going to rise above him, and they never did. So I'm a little late on Vargas, which is why I don't have as many bags in him as I would like. But I do love him as a prospect.
Cool. So yeah, like this graph chart that we're looking at right now is his 2020 Bowman Sapphire Edition Chrome Prospect Auto. And at nooffseason.com, we've been doing in our sports card investment report sort of a play of the month for each not each profile, but anytime we see data like this, we kind of call it out in a play of the month for each guy now. And so what I like, Vargas may fit that profile because you see his PSA 10 of this particular card is down. There's not a huge sample size in sales, but it is down. And so it appears to be a good buying time right now. This is obviously from marketmoversapp.com by Sports Card Investor, where you can get your first month for only $1 if you use the promo code NOOFFSEASON. That's a great tool, so we would love you to do that. But thanks for the question, Chad, and thanks for the answer there, Kendall. And then the other guy that Chad asked about on YouTube is Vinny Pasquantino, who, based on my research, does not have Bowman cards. He has Prism and he has Contenders, obviously non-licensed from Panini, and there are some autos, but I do not know anything about this guy. Kendall, do you have anything to add about Vinny Pasquantino?
Yeah, Vinny is definitely a guy who's rising in a lot of systems and a lot of top 100 lists. At justbaseball.com, he's actually 6th in our Royals top 30. He's not exactly in our top 100 list, but if you look at the profile that we have on our top 30 Royals prospects, he's number 6th. When you look at the outlook, we have said, don't be surprised if he is the top 100 in our next update. And I think that's true across the board. Vinny is hitting really well. He excels at the thing that makes card values happen. He excels at getting hard contact to the ball very commonly. And so when you look at his actual stats at the AAA level, he's got under a 15% K percentage, just like Vargas, very excelling at bat-to-ball contact, 285 average. But the thing that he's really excelling at is his ISOs are 352. I mean, he's hitting the ball very hard at very consistent rate. I mean, he's got 15 home runs at the AAA level already. Like, the guy's killing the ball. He's definitely going to come up. He's definitely coming up quick. He's got a 160 WRC plus, which means he's 60% better than the league average. So he's very, very good. The only thing that I would say here, which would prevent him from being a buy compared to other players, is, traditionally speaking, first basemen don't offer a whole lot of value at the top end in card collecting. When you are looking at positional card collecting, it seems up the middle is very valuable. For instance, shortstop, center field, DHs are sometimes pretty valuable because of how explosive they can be. But even when you look at a guy like Yordan Alvarez, who is a bona fide top 5 player in the league and is getting national attention right now, still he is an undervalued player for what he does at the plate. And I think Vinny Pasquantino is gonna fit that same profile. He profiles to me to Anthony Rizzo. That's what we've said on our justbaseball.com as well. But he could have the Ty France effect, like what we're talking about, and where he's steadily ignored and just continues to hit and continues to hit and continues to hit, and which is why companies like Topps don't like they like to make flashy people in their sets. For instance, Acuna Jr. or Acuna, the third brother, he's like 16 barely, and they put him in this new set. He's not even playing professional ball yet, even like across in his home country, he's not even playing it. And so, like, that is such they make Tatis, the second Tatis, a card. But Pasquantino doesn't have a card. Like, this is Dustin Harris 2.0. Dustin Harris is a first baseman who is profiled as MLB's top. I think he's number 3, or in the beginning of the report, MLB's first base prospects of the year. Dustin Harris just now got a first Bowman card, and he's been in the minors for years and years. And I think this is the same with Pasquantino. I think he will get a first Bowman card in this next set, So when it comes out in Bowman Chrome, I believe, now there's no data behind that, but I believe the Vinny will get a card this year. But at that point, it's going to be baked into his value. Like, you're not going to be able to go find his value somewhere else. So
He's
would
not
invest,
a prospect at that point.
Right. I would invest other places personally, but I think Vinny is very good at what he does. But him being a first baseman and him, like, seeing how Anthony Rizzo, Albert Pujols, all those guys that started as first baseman and were very good players, and their value is not skyrocketed, I'm not going to choose to invest my dollars there.